Well, Jeannie, Wendy, what do you think? Do women hold on to anger the same way, or is this a, I mean, we're talking stereotypes, but or is this
Yes, of
more of a
course.
male kind of thing?
I was gonna, so I hear your question, and there's a piece of me like I want to circle back. So it's like a
Uh-huh.
two right there. Adam, you've got in your book 7 stages, and I don't
Yeah.
know what they're stages of, so I need that clarification. Stages of, and then on the fifth stage is that withdrawal isolation. See,
Hmm.
and I'm surprised that it's at the fifth because I do work predominantly with women who are betrayed partners, but I have worked and not currently, but have worked with male betrayed partners. And I see that earlier too, that isolation. Again, I'm telling no one.
Yep.
There's a lot of folks who will tell lots in a trauma response, but there's a lot of people who will lock down and say nothing. And I see that in the women and the men. I'm interested that you've got that sort of later in the stages.
Um,
Am I understanding
yeah.
correctly?
Yeah. No, yeah. No, you have it right. That's number five. So first, let me say this. None of the stages are real. It's not really linear,
Okay.
right? And everyone is different, right? I just created the stages because one thing I've learned working with men and being with a man is we like to see how stuff's built, right? Like we might not ask for directions, but we want directions kind of idea. So yeah, one of the things, I'll just say this. Some of the stages and my order of them kind of came really from my experience. And at that time, the men I was working with, and what I found was men kind of had to go through a lot of they had to go through this deconstruction, right? Like the shock and the ego wound and the self-worth and who am I? And then we were just talking the anger and the jealousy and the competitiveness. And then it's like, I'm done. I'm stuck. I'm lost. And usually that's when I find most men don't come to me at the beginning. They come after they realize, oh crap, I can't do this alone, or I'm lost, or I have to surrender, which men struggle with, right? And so
Okay, so you're
that's
saying
why, yep,
you're saying they are alone and isolated to start with, but
yeah,
they try to do all these things for themselves and try to figure it out and deal with the pain and the wounds, deconstruct, and then they get to that stuck point,
yeah,
and
and they give up.
that's where you're saying sort of that isolation withdrawal starts, or the withdrawal,
Yeah,
not the isolation. They've been isolated
it's
the whole
the
time.
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
I
okay,
couldn't the truth is
yeah,
that stage should be A1, two. I mean, like our
yeah,
1A, 2A,
yeah,
3A.
yeah, isolated the
It's
whole time.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much right. But often, like, I think for most people, right, we all work in addiction and sex addiction and stuff like that. Like, how many clients do we all have that, like, I've been white knuckling it for a year, or I thought I can do this and I would start and stop, right? And then I think they all have to hit this reckoning where it they hit the bot, they have to hit a bottom. And what I see for men is that withdrawal and isolation, that bottom
Yeah.
is what catapults them. And so many of the men I work with, like those things, the ego wound and the self-worth and the anger, we actually go backwards and look at that stuff for them to understand and heal and then to start to rebuild and
That's so
transformation.
important for all the
I'm gonna
providers
come
who are
back. I'm gonna
listening.
come back to the lockdown on the emotions. And so what I do want to say is that the women, I know just female partners are over functioning. I've never met a partner that doesn't overfunction or isn't an
Yeah,
overachiever in some way or another. And so my experience working with partners is they just say, I'm just going to do things better. I'm gonna be a better mom. I'm gonna be a better wife. And they go into this mode of shutting down their emotions around it and hyper focusing. And then they can't hold it anymore. And then I think what I found is that especially if the man gets into recovery, then they start their decline. Like, he starts kind of figuring out where this is all coming from. He's getting support, and then she starts to deteriorate. And then does she actually, have all the range of emotions? I think it's a big depression and shutdown at that point.